So here's how it all started. xQc didn't just throw shade, he straight up sparked a fire by accusing Kai Cenat's camp of viewbotting. Now, if you're familiar with streaming culture, you already know. That's not just a petty insult. That's one of the worst things you can accuse another creator of. It's like calling someone fake to their face and then waving receipts in the air. But here's the twist. xQc wasn't aiming directly at Kai. He was pointing fingers at Kai's close friends and streaming protégés, namely Reggie, Lil Rodney Son, and RaKai. According to xQc, their numbers didn't add up. He called out sudden overnight viewership spikes, where one of their streams allegedly jumped from 1,000 to 20,000 viewers out of nowhere, and then held those numbers with barely any chat interaction. If you're on Twitch regularly, that kind of data triggers red flags. xQc didn't just speak from opinion. He came with charts, screenshots, and Twitch tracker numbers. He wasn't suggesting it. He was building a case, laying it out on stream like a prosecutor. The way he framed it, it wasn't maybe, it was, look, this is a Viewbot campaign. And let's be real, coming from xQc, who's one of the most watched streamers in the world, this wasn't just a throwaway comment. It sent shockwaves across the platform. Viewers started choosing sides, Twitter lit up, Reddit went wild. Even people who barely knew Reggie or RaKai were suddenly tuning in, combing through streams looking for evidence. This moment, xQc making those accusations publicly, is what lit the match. Whether you believe him or not, that first move changed the tone of everything. It wasn't just streamer beef anymore. It became a legitimacy war, and Kai was pulled into the crossfire. So at first, you might have thought this was just about Reggie and RaKai, right? But the second xQc started tying them to Kai, the situation turned into something way bigger. You're watching this unfold thinking, okay, he's not saying Kai did it, but he kinda is. That's exactly how the community read it, and so did Kai. From your perspective, this is where things get personal. Kai wasn't just being implicated by association. xQc's words carried a layered subtext. By going after Kai's closest collaborators, he was also questioning Kai's credibility. Like, if your whole crew is faking it, what does that say about you? About the empire you've built? And let's not forget, Kai's not just another Twitch streamer. He's arguably the face of a new wave. Top-tier numbers, a die-hard fan base, viral moments, and even mainstream crossovers. He's been on fire. So when someone like xQc, an OG, one of the most established figures in streaming, throws shade at Kai's circle, it feels like an attempt to undercut the movement. That's exactly how Kai saw it. He didn't wait for things to cool off. On stream, Kai went off, not just defending Reggie and RaKai, but flipping the script. He basically said, this ain't the first time xQc has done this. Every time we rise, he gets uncomfortable. He painted a picture of a pattern, one where xQc, knowingly or not, always seems to downplay the success of Black creators when they start shaking up the top of Twitch. In that moment, Kai wasn't just defending two friends. He was defending a legacy, a movement, a shift in the platform's culture. And he made it clear, he's not here for the passive-aggressive shots. If you want to talk numbers, talk facts. But don't come for his people and expect silence. Now here's where it really escalates. Because Kai didn't just defend himself or his friends, he zoomed out and put the entire moment in context. You're watching his response thinking it's just going to be a regular clapback. But he flips the tone and starts calling out something way deeper than viewbotting. Kai brings up a pattern, not just with xQc, but with the entire streaming culture. He says outright, it's always us. Every time we start winning, y'all find a way to try and tear us down. And that hit different. Because whether or not you believe the viewbotting accusations, Kai's not just talking about Reggie and RaKai anymore. He's talking about Black streamers finally breaking into the top, gaining visibility, and then suddenly being accused of cheating, stealing, or inflating their success. From your point of view, this is where the story becomes more than drama. It turns into a cultural moment. Kai wasn't just reacting emotionally. He was laying out what he sees as a systematic problem on Twitch and in the broader creator space. He pointed out how quickly people are to discredit certain streamers the moment their numbers grow, especially when they're not the usual faces at the top. He even went as far as questioning why xQc didn't call out other creators with sudden spikes, creators with similar view patterns, and why the focus always seems to land on him and his team. Whether you agree with him or not, you could feel the frustration, the exhaustion, the anger of constantly having to defend legitimacy in a space that often doubts you by default. So now, this isn't just about whether someone botted views. It's about respect, recognition, and the narrative around who's deserving of success in this game. And Kai's making it clear, he's not just playing Twitch, he's trying to rewrite what success looks like on it. All right, so while Kai is going off about the deeper cultural implications and defending his team, xQc's over on his stream doing what xQc does best, breaking it all down in real time, data in hand. From your point of view, this is where he stops throwing shade and starts treating it like a full-blown investigation. He pulls up Twitch tracker stats, overlays screenshots, and lays out timelines. He's showing graphs of stream growth that, according to him, just don't make sense. One day, Reggie's pulling 1,200 viewers. The next, 25,000 with barely any chat movement. xQc even questions why engagement stayed flat despite the explosion in viewership. And when he says this isn't natural, you know exactly what he's implying. You're sitting there watching and thinking, this isn't just drama anymore. It's like a courtroom live stream. He's trying to prove intent, establish patterns, and make the audience say, okay, yeah, this is sketchy. To xQc, it's not about clout. It's about protecting the integrity of the platform. And he's not saying Kai viewbotted directly, but he's pushing the narrative that Kai's success might be built on questionable foundations through the people around him. But here's the catch. xQc's tone isn't exactly diplomatic. He's smug, almost performative. So even if some viewers agree with his evidence, others see it as ego-driven, like he's trying to remind the new wave who still runs Twitch. And because of that, the conversation starts to split. Half the audience is nodding along with the graphs, and the other half is calling him insecure or jealous. So, at this point, the situation's boiling. It's not just a he said, she said. There's proof, there's pride, and there's a platform watching it all in real time, deciding whose receipts they actually believe. At this point, Kai's patience runs out. And this is where you really see him go off script emotionally. No more holding it together, no more strategic clapbacks. He's visibly frustrated, pacing on stream, eyes locked into the chat, and his voice is heated. You can tell this isn't about Reggie or RaKai anymore. This is personal now. Kai looks right into the camera and hits viewers with something that sticks. Why is it every time somebody comes up, y'all try to say it's fake? Why do y'all always gotta tear down what you don't understand? And you feel that. Because from his perspective, and maybe yours too, this wasn't just a numbers conversation anymore. It's about being told your success isn't real, that the people around you don't deserve the numbers they're pulling, and that your growth is suspicious just because it doesn't follow the same path the top dogs are used to. Kai's not stupid, he knows how Twitch works. He knows engagement, retention, spikes, raids, and momentum. So when xQc starts trying to pick apart his team's growth with graphs and Twitch tracker screenshots, Kai doesn't just see it as analysis. He sees it as a narrative being pushed, one that always seems to fall on creators like him when they finally start to dominate the space. And what makes it worse? The fact that people are so quick to believe it. That's what really makes him snap. The moment xQc brings up charts, Twitter eats it up. Reddit threads explode, and suddenly everyone's questioning the legitimacy of his crew. So Kai flips it on its head. Y'all don't question them when their numbers jump. But the second, it's us. The second, it's me. It's viewbots? That's wild. At this point, he's not defending. He's challenging. He's calling out the double standard. And whether you agree with him or not, one thing is crystal clear. Kai is not asking for validation anymore. He's daring you to question his spot, and he's ready to fight for it. Now this is where things really start to shift. Because the drama isn't just between Kai and xQc anymore. The entire Twitch and YouTube community gets pulled into it, and you can feel the line being drawn in real time. From your perspective, this isn't just tea. It's a debate about credibility, authenticity, and who really deserves to be at the top. On one side, you've got people riding with xQc, saying he's just calling out suspicious behavior and backing it with numbers. They argue that he's not wrong to raise questions when the math doesn't math. To them, this isn't personal. It's about maintaining integrity on the platform. After all, if viewbotting is happening, that threatens the value of real grind and organic growth. But the other side, they're calling cap hard. They're saying this has nothing to do with fairness and everything to do with ego. They're pointing out that Kai's been crushing milestones, getting mainstream attention, building a movement, and some creators just can't take it. You hear them say things like, "Funny how xQc never speaks up until someone passes him." The word jealousy keeps coming up, and for many, this feels like the same cycle. Black creators rise, accusations follow, Twitter threads start popping, creators chime in, some streamers side-eye xQc, calling his behavior petty or insecure. Others defend him, saying, if something's fishy, it should be addressed, no matter who it is. And then there's the neutral crowd, just watching it unfold like a heavyweight match, popcorn in hand. You've seen drama before, but this one hits deeper, because it's not just about who's right. It's about what the community chooses to value. Numbers or narrative, proof or pattern, growth or gatekeeping. And while the feud brews, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just a disagreement. It's a culture clash, and everyone's picking a side. So now you're sitting in the middle of this firestorm thinking, okay, what's next? The accusations have been made. The responses are out. The community is split, and both xQc and Kai have had their say, loudly. But what's wild is, this doesn't feel like the end. It feels like the calm before the next wave. From your point of view, Kai's not just going to leave it here. He's too smart, too strategic, and too deep into the game to let this be the final note. Right now, he's got something bigger to prove. Not just to xQc, not just to his critics, but to everyone watching who doubted him, or acted like his rise was anything other than real. You can already sense the shift. Is he going to go even harder with content? Is he going to put Reggie and RaKai on a bigger stage and double down? Will he drop his own version of the receipts, pull analytics, and silence the noise with raw data? Whatever the move is, one thing's for sure, he's not done. And neither is the internet. Because Twitch isn't just about gaming anymore. It's about identity, culture, loyalty, numbers, power. And the people watching this feud unfold aren't just here for entertainment. They're deciding who they believe in, and more importantly, who they want to win. So yeah, maybe xQc brought the charts. Maybe he lit the fire. But Kai, he's building something bigger than a comeback. He's building a statement. And you're here watching it all happen, frame by frame, knowing the next click, the next post, the next stream, could flip the whole narrative again.